things aren't always as they seem. What the hell does that mean? So a lot of you already know, last week I sold one of my drum sets. However, the experience was a little strange. It didn't take long to sell them. In fact, the first person that contacted me was actually the same person that bought them. So I'd say he was serious about it. So a few hours after I posted the video, I got an email from a guy named Lee. He said he was from Nashville and wanted to know if I'd already sold the drums. So I said, yeah. And I blocked him. No, that's just a little joke. That didn't happen at all. Might have been kind of funny, though. I told him the drums were still available and asked if he had any questions. Right out of the gate, we seemed to get along really well. He said he was an old metal guy, just like myself. Except I'm young and vibrant. I answered his questions. However, it didn't take us long to go into nerd mode. I mean full nerd mode. He sent me a photo of him and Gene Hoglan together. That was a dead giveaway. From that point forward, I knew he was a paid member of the official Society of Drum Nerds for Ding Dongs Club. It really didn't take long to settle on a price for the drums. And then we quickly shifted gears to more important things, like bass drum pedals, tuning, and of course, our favorite drummers. You know, the important stuff. However, we still hadn't decided on how we were going to get these drums to him. So the next day I measured everything and weighed all the boxes. I tried to find the best price I could. Shipping was actually pretty high. He'd mentioned he was from Nashville, so I offered to meet him in Kentucky, which is about a 4.5-hour drive. So I sent him an email and asked if there was any place in particular that he wanted to meet. I mean, maybe he knows the area better than I do. Wouldn't be hard, since I don't know the area at all.
You're stupid. Yeah.
He emailed me back. He said it didn't matter. So I jumped on Googler and found a McDonald's in the area. After all, I did say that I'd buy him a small Coke. So I found an address and I sent it to him. About an hour later, he sent me a message that said, tomorrow at noon. Tomorrow? I was thinking 2-3 days maybe. I mean, by this point, it was getting pretty late in the day, and I still had a lot of things to do. Plus, the drums were still in shipping boxes, and I was really hoping to try and take my car. I mean, I have a Suburban, and clearly everything would fit just fine, but I don't like driving it as well because it's bigger than a damn camper.
Merry Christmas! Dinner was full!
But I figured if I really pushed it, I could get everything done and still get the drums loaded in my car before I even went to bed. So here's where things get kind of strange. As I was walking into my garage, I noticed we were getting pounded with snow. I mean pounded. At that point, I realized I was likely going to have to take the Suburban. So I sent him a message to tell him about the snow, and I asked if it'd be all right if we backed the time back to maybe 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. So I sat and waited, but I didn't hear anything back. So I sent another message, and then another. He just stopped responding. What the hell's going on? He seemed like a really great dude. Should I take a chance and drive all that way? Or just call the whole thing off? By morning, I still hadn't heard anything from him. Fortunately, the snow had stopped, and it actually wasn't too bad out. So I crossed my fingers, hoped for the best, and I headed to Kentucky. About halfway there, I finally received a message from him. But if I'm being honest, it really didn't make me feel much better. By that point, I believe my mind had already shifted into I'm a-fixin' to get totally screwed mode. However, I'm already halfway there. so I might as well see it through. About 4.5 hours later, I finally see the golden arches. I figured he'll either show or he won't show. Pretty straightforward. Soon after, a guy shows up and he gets out of his truck. This dude looked like a 7-foot Billy Gibbons. Now, I'm a man of my word, but I decided right then and there that I was going to step it up to a medium Coke, 'cause of his size and all. But he wouldn't hear of it. In fact, he insisted that he was going to buy lunch. So I stepped right up, and I looked him square in the chin, and I said, "Whatever you say." Now, as I'm sure you can imagine, I've met a lot of folks in my life. I mean a big bunch of folks. And trust me, this dude was a big bunch of folks. But me and this guy sat at that McDonald's table, and we laughed for hours. In fact, he had a buddy that lived in the area, who was also a drummer. He stopped by as well. The three of us had an absolute blast together. Now, this might sound like an exaggeration, but it was literally one of the best days that I've had in years. I felt like I'd known these guys my entire life. So what the hell does any of this have to do with the title of the video? Well, we're getting ready to leave, and of course I hadn't mentioned anything about him not responding to any of my messages. After all, I'm sure I mentioned, he was a pretty big bunch of folks. So we gave each other a hug, and we promised to stay in touch. I was just about to start walking to my car, and he looked at me and he said, "Yeah, I didn't know whether you was going to show up or not." I thought to myself, you didn't know if I was going to show up? Now I've got to be square. It got under my skin just a smidge. Now I know he was a mite bit bigger than me, but I had half a mind to walk right up to him and bite him on the leg. However, him being a big bunch of bigger than me helped considerably to calm my impulses. So instead, I politely asked, "Well, what do you mean?" And he said, "Well, I didn't hear anything from you. The last message I got was around 9 o'clock last night." This dude wasn't a flake. He was trying to send stuff all night long, but for some reason, I just wasn't getting any of them. And vice versa. He wasn't getting any of mine. Sometimes it happens. And to think, I almost called the whole thing off. Now, I really don't care about the drums. I mean, I would have sold those within a few weeks either way. However, not only did I make a new friend, but I actually had one of the best days that I've had in years. What a gift. So the next time you're ready to tear into someone, maybe take just a second to consider, maybe things aren't as they seem. Maybe there's more to the story. And with his permission, I'd like to share a photo of me and my buddy, Lee White. I know this video isn't groundbreaking on any level, but I had a really nice day that day, and I just wanted to share it with you. With so much hate on the internet, isn't it nice to watch a video with a pleasant ending? Who knows? It might even catch on. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Thanks for indulging me and allowing me to share my story. And as always, if you haven't already subscribed, I wouldn't bother. However, if you've enjoyed the video, maybe give it a like. It helps out more than you know. And for those interested in merchandise, please visit store.themaddrummer.com. Thanks for watching. Yeah, I know, you should have been there. Yeah, you could have helped drove. I think we're done. Yeah, I know he's one big dude. What gave it away? Oop. Are we going? Yes, he really was a nice guy. The big nice guy. But he's a nice guy.